Hello. Well, you might remember I'm Lisa, and I get to work at 3 different churches, St Mary's and St Leonard's and Holy Trinity. And in all 3 of our churches during June, we've been thinking really carefully about how God has made us all different and how we can celebrate the fact that we're different. As you look around your class, I wonder what ways you notice that you're all different. Maybe you're different heights, have different types of hair, different colours of skin. Those are the things you can see, aren't there? But there'll be lots of other things that make you different, like whether you prefer literacy or maths, whether you're learning a musical instrument, whether you like playing football, whether you have brothers and sisters. Maybe you speak a different language at home. That's another way that we can be different. Well, I'm going to read a story now about a bat called Stellaluna. Stellaluna was a bit different, and sometimes she found that really hard. Let's listen to the story. There once lived a fruit bat and her new baby. Oh, how Mother Bat loved her baby. "I'll name you Stellaluna," she cried. One night, as Mother Bat followed the scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her. Mother Bat tried to escape, but the owl knocked Stellaluna into the air. Down, down she went, faster and faster, into the forest below. The dark, leafy tangle of branches caught Stellaluna as she fell. "Mother," she squeaked, "where are you?" By daybreak, the baby bat could hold on no longer. Down, down again she dropped. Flump! Stellaluna landed headfirst in a nest, startling 3 baby birds. Can you see her? Stellaluna has landed with the 3 birds. Stellaluna was terribly hungry, but not for the crawly things Mama Bird brought her babies. But finally the bat could bear it no longer. She climbed into the nest, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. Plop! In landed a juicy grasshopper. Before long, Stellaluna learned to be like the birds. She stayed awake all day and slept at night. She ate bugs, even though they tasted awful. But she still liked to sleep, hanging by her feet. One day, the baby birds decided to have a go at hanging by their feet too. There they are, trying. "Eek!" Mama cried when she returned. "Get back up here this instant." Mama Bird spoke to Stellaluna. "I will not let you back into this house, into this nest, unless you promise to obey all the rules of our home." Stellaluna promised to behave as a good bird should, to eat bugs without making faces, to sleep in the nest at night and not hang by her feet. There's Mama Bird telling Stellaluna how to behave. One day Mama Bird told the babies it was time to learn to fly. Pip, Flitter and Flap jumped from the nest. Their wings worked. "I'm just like them," thought Stellaluna. "I can fly too." Pip, Flitter and Flap landed gracefully on a branch, and Stellaluna tried to do the same, but she couldn't. How embarrassing. She tried to land on the branch and had to pull herself up by the edge of her wings. "I'll just have to fly all day," she thought. "Then no one will see how clumsy I am." The next day, Pip, Flitter, Flap and Stellaluna flew for hours. "The sun is setting," warned Flitter. "We'd better go home or we'll get lost in the dark." But Stellaluna was nowhere to be seen. The 3 anxious birds went home without her. Stellaluna flew and flew until her wings ached, and then she dropped into a tree. "I promised not to hang by my feet," Stellaluna sighed. So she hung by her thumbs and soon fell asleep. And she didn't notice the soft sound of wings coming nearby. "Hey," a loud voice said, "why are you hanging upside down?" More bats gathered around to see the strange young bat who behaved like a bird. Stellaluna told them her story. "You ate bugs," stuttered one. "You slept at night," gasped another. "How very strange," they all murmured. "Wait, wait!" A bat pushed through the crowd. Sniffing Stellaluna's fur, she whispered, "You are Stellaluna. You are my baby." "You escaped the owl," cried Stellaluna. "You're safe." "Yes," said Mother Bat. "Come with me and we'll find the most delicious fruit." "But it's night time," Stellaluna squeaked. "We'll crash into trees." "We're bats," said Mother Bat. "We can see in the dark." "Come with us." Soon the bats found a mango tree and Stellaluna ate as much of the fruit as she could. The next day, Stellaluna went to visit the birds. "Come with me and meet my bat family," said Stellaluna. "They all hang by their feet and they fly at night and they eat the best food in the world. And wait until dark. We can fly at night too." There they are. When night came, Stellaluna flew away and Pip, Flitter and Flap leapt from the tree to follow her. "I can't see a thing," yelled Pip. "Neither can I," howled Flitter. "Ah!" shrieked Flap. Stellaluna swooped about, grabbing her friends and holding them safe. "We're safe," said Stellaluna. Then she sighed. "I wish you could see in the dark too." "And we wish you could land on your feet," Flitter replied. "How can we be so different and feel so much alike?" "And how can we feel so different and be so much alike?" wondered Pip. "Because we're friends," said Stellaluna, "and that's a fact." I really like that story. Stellaluna was different to the baby birds, wasn't she? Do you remember some of the ways that she was different? She liked eating fruit instead of bugs. She liked to sleep hanging from her feet instead of being inside the nest. And she found it hard to land on branches like the birds did. Well, I wonder if you know what a psychologist does. It's a really long word, isn't it? Psychologists are experts who have done a lot of thinking and learning about people, about how people feel and how people think. And psychologists tell us that we often find it easier to be friends with people who are similar to us, and that when people are different to us, we're often a bit suspicious of them. The birds were a bit suspicious of Stellaluna, weren't they? Because she was different, and they wanted to try to make her behave the same as them. But at the end of the story, they knew that birds and bats are different, but they could still be friends. I wonder if you've ever noticed that you're a bit suspicious of people who are different to you. Or maybe because you're a bit suspicious of them, you don't try to make friends with them, even though they could be really good people to get to know. I think we can all be a bit like that sometimes, adults and children. So I wonder whether we might ask God to help us to make friends with people who are different to us and not just people who are similar. I've written that prayer down here, and we've been praying this prayer in our children's services in church. So I'm going to pray this prayer now, and if you want to make it your prayer, you could join in with me. Dear God, please help me to be friends with people who are different to me, as well as people who are similar. Amen.